I love the beginning of this one because it really sounds like Young Thug's just in pain. Somebody help him. Oh, hey guys.
What?
Oh. When you're done.
Okay, that's
He's
fine.
fucking interrupted our flow.
That's whatever. Hey guys. This is the first episode of Switchat, and that was the first 5 seconds we were listening to Gucci Mane.
We had a good time.
Yeah, it was a good time. Anyway, so this is new venture for us. Though actually it's been long in the works. We decided, hey, we're going to do a Nintendo podcast. And I think that really is just spurred by the fact that like the Switch has so many great games, and I love playing portable games. And of course, the Switch is going to kind of come in, replace the 3DS, and also the Vita by virtue of that. So yeah,
we did do one episode that
it was so negative. I didn't even like it.
We recorded it like right after the really difficult unboxing video and stream and everything. We were very tired, very negative, but we're all about it now.
Yeah.
We're stoked.
Yeah,
we're just listening to Gucci.
Yeah, listening to Gucci. Gucci Mane has a Switch.
Does he really?
I believe so.
That's very
I saw
funny.
a picture of him with a Switch. Anyways, we said, hey, this is the week to do it because guess what? Nintendo's fucking up left and right, and we're gonna sit here and kind of take it up, or take it in, and kind of pick it apart.
Yeah.
Okay, so normally we would start off, I think, with what are we playing, but this week I think has really just been Mario Kart, and everybody knows Mario Kart.
Hell
right?
yeah, dog!
Well, this is your first time. Give the 1 minute summary of your time with Mario Kart. Right
1 minute summary. Fucking NOS, dude.
Hit the NOS.
Hit the NOS.
We decided, actually, we were playing yesterday, the mushrooms in Mario Kart are pretty much NOS.
They are.
Right?
Dude,
Yeah.
I felt like every time
oxide.
I use the NOS, I can hear the shop owner's voice. He's like, only the pros use NOS.
Only the pros use NOS.
Exactly. And every time I'm like, I'm gonna do it, hit the NOS. Or I hear Vin Diesel, NOS! Yes! Anyway, I mean,
tell them how you feel.
it's a fucking blast. I mean, as we've already established, I'm not that good at it yet, but I'm working. I'm going to keep playing it since I can take it on the go. I'm gonna fucking 3-star everything, 150cc. I'm gonna do it.
Of course, dude.
I'm gonna fucking do
that's
it.
the way to do it. Now, I really don't have much to say about this anymore because I played this game 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I think, maybe on Wii U. So, like, I'm just returning home essentially. That's what it's like, getting back in there and playing all these like great tracks. Like I think 8 had the best tracks out of any of them, best original tracks, of course. And
Their Rainbow Road is my favorite.
Yeah,
out
it's
of all.
fantastic. Like, I just think that is a series of games that gets better every generation by virtue of the fact that a kart racer is really, like, dependent on the hardware, right? Because it's a game that is supposed to move fast, and, you couldn't really, especially back in the Nintendo 64 and on Super Circuit, the Game Boy Advanced one, everything was so flat. Right? And I think Super Circuit was the first one I played. And I loved that game. But everything was so flat, and now, like, you're here with the, you have the glider introduced in 8 or 7, and the fact you can go underwater also introduced in 7. And then 8 brought in the gravity, the anti-gravity stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, everything is so vertical, and it's fucking awesome. Like, it's
When
a great
did
game.
drifting come in?
Drifting has always been there, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I played I played a lot of Mario Kart Wii.
I don't know how you did that.
I played a lot of that fucking game.
See, I don't like. That's the only one where, like, I'm gonna sit here and tell you I don't like that game.
See, okay, it's a nostalgic.
Yeah, I understand that.
It's like
That game's 10 years old.
I got home from school. I put my bag down. Me and my sister would go fucking head to head, like right away. That was like, and that's what I'll always remember about the game. I played it a lot.
No, that's
and
respectable. I had no beef against that.
I just don't remember drifting being a thing in that game.
It was. I think you had to hit the B button.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, I didn't do it well.
The B button
anyway.
placement, fucking dumb. Anyways, yeah. So we have a lot of things to talk about besides Mario Kart, of course. Puyo Puyo Tetris. I could talk your goddamn ear off about that.
He has.
Yeah, and I have done that, so we're not going to do that right now. But we have a lot of fucking news to cover, so we're just going to get into it. Nintendo will continue to support 3DS into 2018. Now, I figured we'd start with this one, and we kind of fuse it with a different story as well. The Nintendo 2DS XL. Yeah, right? Worrying. Yeah, like we were running a show called Switchat right now. It's all about the Nintendo Switch, but here we are talking about 3DS continuing to be supported into 2018.
It's relevant, 100%.
It is, yeah, because it kind of shows, I think, mainly the reluctance to go full Switch, which I don't understand.
I don't understand it either, and it just like it further bolsters the this kind of surrounding idea with Nintendo that they're just looking for money, and and that's like they said that they like hit their mark with Switch.
Yeah,
it's like, is that what all you were really?
Well, let's go here then. All right, how about this? We'll bring in this one as well.
Okay,
Nintendo Switch sells 2.74 million units in under a month, and for the successor to a console that hardly cracked 10. Like, that's pretty fucking good. And here they are saying, like, yeah, we're going to support 3DS into 2018. And then we had that Direct a couple weeks ago where they showed a whole bunch of 3DS games. And a bunch of really good ones, too. Ones that I'm going to play. You know, games that, when we were talking about games that are coming out recently a couple minutes ago that I forgot about. Like, the new Fire Emblem, right? It took me a minute to remember that one. Comes out in, like, 2 weeks.
Yeah, it does.
And then in July, we have... the same day that the 2DS XL releases, we have the new Pikmin game. And, of course, I fucking love Pikmin, right? Like, I totally forgot about that. And it's just weird. Yeah, what's your general feeling on this?
I think it's just, like, to me, I get it. Like, on a business sense, like, if you were talking to somebody and you were just talking numbers, you're like, how many 3DSs are there in the wild?
I want to say, like, well over 60.
Yeah.
No, not 60. 60
yeah, 60 3DSs out there.
60 3DS?
Out of, like, they have 60 million 3DSs out there in the wild.
Yeah.
It's like, why wouldn't they continue to make games for it? Well, because it really seems like they don't believe in the Switch and they're not supporting it. And that's, like, the biggest complaint 100% across the board from people is, like, where are the games?
Well, they're coming working on it. They're definitely working on it.
Look, I mean, they have a major Zelda game. They have a Mario Kart.
A game that they sold more copies of than the actual console.
Yeah, it's true.
It's crazy. There's like 20,000, I think, unaccounted for copies or something like that.
Jesus Christ. And they have another major Mario game coming up around the corner.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, they are covering their bases, but they're not doing a lot of things that people want. And it's like, they end up building this laundry list for people who did buy Switches that are like, well, I want a Metroid game, and I want a Star Fox game, and I want another F-Zero. I want, all these other games, but we're just not going to get them anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right, but does it bring up to you questions like of, do they really believe in this thing for the long term? Is that, like, do you feel that, now we know it's not this case anymore, so, like, it's kind of not an old issue, but it's still an issue. Going into it, we didn't really know if Switch was going to succeed, and it definitely seems like they're doing way better than I think anybody would have pegged it to.
Right.
Right? And then here we are, almost 3 million units later, probably well over 3 now. They said that was under a month, right? We're, I think, 2 months out now. Right? So, like, there's a lot of them out there. And I bet you fucking Mario Kart sold a ton of them. But do you think that maybe they put all these 3DS games into development, they, greenlit the new Pikmin to be on 3DS instead of Switch, and then now they have all these games sitting there, they're like, well, fuck. Like, I mean, we're going to put them out still. And they had already R&D'd the new 3DS XL, or new 2DS XL. And they were like, well, fuck, I mean, like, we already manufactured these things.
We got to sell them.
Do you think maybe they're just putting it out there now, and they're going to, after all this stuff, like, I think the most worrying thing is that they said that they're going to continue in 2018, because that tells me that that's not the case. It tells me that they're going to try to do what they promised to do with Game Boy Advance and then failed to do, where they wanted, the 2 pillars here, where it's like going to be, it was supposed to be Game Boy Advance, GameCube, and DS, and then Game Boy Advance just died.
That thing. Jesus, yeah.
But, like, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen here. And I just think, is that a customer thing, where they want to make sure people are continually happy with this thing, or do you think it's they don't believe in Switch?
That's a really good question, and I think that it comes down mainly to, like, if they, well, here's the thing, they're not reaching 3DS numbers, I think, because they're not manufacturing enough Switches, which
I don't know how much 3DS sold, and 3DS out the gate was rough. Didn't succeed. They had to drop the price on that thing. There's the whole ambassador program, right? Where I was one of those people that they give you a little certificate, digital certificate, and then 10 Game Boy Advance games.
Right.
And yeah, like that didn't do well out the gate. Switch is doing well out the gate.
Yeah.
And I just think that it's weird that they're saying this, where I would personally quietly put out all these 3DS games that they've had in development, because you're not going to go back on those.
Well, look, here's the thing. The games that you listed off, Fire Emblem, Pikmin,
Oasis looks great too.
What was that?
Ever Oasis, it's like a new IP, yeah.
Here's the thing, like, the people that are buying and paying attention to those games are the people that are like you.
Yes,
like the diehard Nintendo looking for anything kind of people and keeping up with it. I don't think that,
Pikmin certainly has proven to not move the needle in the past, so I think you're right about that.
But I think that their highlighted stuff is going to the Switch. They're really, really big. The Mario Kart, Breath of the Wild,
they're really
ARMS, are going to the Switch. And if those numbers can be high, which they've set them. That's the thing. They've set themselves up for it to be that way. Like, I was thinking about it. 1-2 Switch would not have sold as many copies as it did.
Super Bomberman R sold. I think it's the best-selling Bomberman game, and it's not even like that good.
No, it's not.
But it's just because it was on Switch. Like anything that touches Switch now.
That's why I bought it.
Yeah.
I'd never played a Bomberman game before in my life, but it was coming on Switch, so I was like, all right, I'll play it.
Like, I just think that. Not that they're fools to be putting out these games while Switch is kind of, in a rough spot, right? Yeah. But I don't know, man. Like, you just have this really hungry audience, right? And I'm not saying to ignore the 3DS people, because they definitely exist, but I just think that you should not say, like, hey, we're going to support 3DS in 2018, because I feel like that brings some of the Switch people, like, it brings their expectations down. And it also kind of sets in a bit of worry, like why? Okay. Like the Switch has proven, especially for me, who plays it mostly handheld, to be a great handheld.
It's fantastic. I mean, that's all I ever play it now.
Like, I was worried, like,
other than Mario Kart,
maybe they're supporting 3DS because they know that the battery can't handle it. It totally can. So it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I think 2018 is the death year, right?
Here's the thing. I think they had this mapped out plan for the 3DS for a long time before the Switch was even really a big thing.
Yeah.
I think that they had this idea, we're going to do the new 3DS and release all this, that we're going to release, like, well, they have one exclusive game for it. And, have the SNES Virtual Console only on it for now. And then they wanted to put the 2DS, the new 2DS XL, whatever.
That one is weird.
That one is weird, but I think that, they didn't give a shit about the 2DS when it came out.
Yeah.
So I don't think that there's any reason for them to really give a huge shit about it now.
Yeah, I think they're just putting this out. Like, because I'm on the side of things where, like, maybe we shouldn't worry.
Right.
Because I feel like they're just putting these things out. They're like, we've done them. All right, there's no going back now. So we're going to put them out. We're going to sell them. And we're going to hopefully, make our money on that. And then it's all Switch. It
just sucks because it seems like they are churning these games out for the 3DS when the Switch is their new console, is their new big thing that they should be highlighting. They should be like, we have this coming out, and also, where the fuck are the third parties?
Yeah, I think they're coming now. I think that they see the numbers that Switch is doing and how, like, people can't keep them in stock. And I think there's definitely some meetings happening in EA or wherever the fuck you want them to be happening. Yeah. And they're definitely like, we got to make some Switch games. And I don't think it'll be like AAA games, but I think it'll be, we're making this for Switch.
I had this, like, and this is, I know, I understand this is a naive hope, and you can roast me for it all you want, but I was kind of hoping that they would come out with Switch and it would finally like put them in the running against PlayStation and Xbox.
No.
And that's it. And I thought like, okay, they have a solid, home console,
Yeah.
an amazing portable.
Yeah.
They could easily run up against them and compete with them. But because of their games and because of the fact that these third parties aren't supporting them, I don't think they're ever going to reach those numbers.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like they might, just because I've noticed that Nintendo's kind of like trendy right now.
A little bit.
Is it not? Like, because the NES Classic, it kind of like hit those trendy people who were like, oh, that's retro. I'm gonna buy that.
Yeah, I get
dude.
you.
I'm retro, dude. Like, I'm an old soul. I kind of want to, play this, old video games because I'm cool like that. And they hit like those trendy people. And
Horizon Zero Dawn, never heard of it.
Dumb. I'm kidding. Horizon's good. And yeah, so they kind of struck a chord with those people, I think. And
right.
then I think a lot of them couldn't get that. And then they saw Switch and like, oh, maybe I'll get that.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe there's a new audience, I think, maybe emerging with Nintendo Switch. And it's not necessarily kids. I think it's just people that maybe have been out of video games for a long time. And, The Legend of Zelda has been more than just like gaming media saying it's incredible. It's everybody.
Dude, one of like the big like district manager's boss guys from the company I work at came to our place of work, and he called ahead, put a Switch on hold.
Yeah.
We were talking to him. He's like, I was like, oh, are you buying this for your kids? And he was like, no, I'm buying it for Cart, dude.
Yeah. Dude, I think Nintendo has like their games that are kind of like mass appeal and like accepted as like cool now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like taken off in a way that I didn't expect it to. And yeah, I don't know. I just think it's doing way better than they had planned it for it to do, and they have all this 3DS stuff and they're just kind of putting it out.
Nintendo is definitely like in a much better place than they have been in the past 10 years.
It's incredible, and that's why the shitty news that we're about to talk about is just fucking getting on
as
my nerves
heartbreaking,
right now.
yeah.
Okay, so this isn't saying we're not doing a direct, but they said, hey, we're not going to be doing anything big at E3. Essentially, they're not doing a stage show. So I think there's going to be a direct, but I wanted them to do a stage show, not because the January one went so well, but just because I feel like they need to do that to really like be seen as legitimate in a lot of the bigger public's eye.
There was like, I remember I like listening to a bunch of the podcasts that I do. Every time E3 comes up, they're like, Nintendo's definitely going to come forward with some like really badass stuff for Switch.
And I think they will, but it's going to be like a 45-minute direct, and I don't know.
I just wanted them to do a stage show where they came out with some crazy shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like that gets people excited. If we saw anything last year at Sony's E3, like
that's what I was just about to fucking say.
That fucking orchestra being there, when the curtains opened and then the steps lit up and Kojima walked down this lighted stage under like that was those moments you can't.
It's a fucking rock show, dude. Like they made that. They made video games. They made their brand a fucking spectacle.
That thing was incredible, and like I think that Nintendo can do some stuff. Right, like that. Even in a direct, maybe they had the puppets one year, and that was really cool. Yeah, right. They could do stuff like that, the little quirky Nintendo things.
They had the Splatoon 2 doctor come in there.
Oh my god! Please build that man a set with little squid kids.
I'm telling you, I want a lore around that guy.
Can we get squid kids? Can we get like squid puppets and then have him do like a little show with the squid puppets?
Fuck yes.
Dude, see, now they can do that. All right, never mind. I proved myself wrong. That might be pretty cool. That might be really cool. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like in the wider public's eye, in the mass audience, I feel like you kind of need like a big spectacle to kind of get their attention, because game announcements aren't significant to the mass audience. You know what I mean?
And it's just weird to me, like the way they treat certain games is very odd, because like on the Nintendo Direct. Or it wasn't the direct, it was like the presentation for the Switch.
Okay, yeah.
They had like a really great list of awesome games coming out that they just kind of like 10 minutes ran through all the titles.
Yeah.
And then they fucking spent all that time. I mean, I'm sure ARMS is going to be fun. but like they spent all that time on ARMS.
1-2 switch.
And 1-2, they spent so much time on 1-2 switch.
Yeah, it's weird. And it was like, oh, here's a trailer for Xenoblade.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. Dude, Xenoblade, I really believe could be on the level of like, fucking like the RPGs that people know and love, like Final Fantasy.
Well, Xenoblade Chronicles, I think, is one of the greatest RPGs of all time.
And it's one, but the thing is, it's not one of those games that like you can just talk about to a lot of people.
Yeah, you can't.
It's not something that a lot of people know, and like it could be. That's the thing. They're just not. They highlight certain games very strangely.
That's the kind of game where if you put out a great marketing campaign or just like some commercials where it's like, this is the game with the really big things in it. There's big things in this game. Look how big that thing is.
Every
like,
single
people
time.
Latch onto that. People are very simple. They just want something to like latch onto.
Yep. And I mean, it's the reason why Shadow of the Colossus is the biggest one in that series.
Yeah. Like, oh, this is the game with the big people.
Exactly.
The big bosses. Yeah.
Exactly. And every single time I see a trailer or something about Xenoblade, I'm like, fuck yes, that looks awesome. And it's an RPG. I get to fight giant shit.
Yeah.
Hell yes, I'm into it. But it's just not highlighted the way it could be. Because I don't think...
Man.
I think they might think games like that kind of go against their narrative of like being the fun kids company.
Yeah. I think so. I don't know. I feel like they're getting away from that, though, because you did see in a lot of the Switch advertisements where it was a lot of, kind of like attractive mid-20s people in a city. Like, I don't know. They're trying to get away from it, I think.
I mean...
And that's smart. That's very smart, because the audience has expanded since they were in their heyday, man. Like, the audience is not just kids anymore.
True. I mean, I think that started to kind of veer away, especially with... Well, first it started with the SNES coming out with a lot of really deep games, and then like in GameCube time you get Prime, one of the first console FPSs that's very good.
Real quick, and we'll do a of course predictions podcast for what we think is going to happen at Nintendo E3, but do you think we see the new retro game? Do you think that we see what they're working on?
Yeah, I do.
Do you think it's Metroid Prime?
I do.
Okay.
I have thought about this a lot, and yes, I think it's going to be Metroid Prime because it's like with them.
Or do you think it's a 2D Metroid?
That'd be cool.
Because I'm saying like retro is not like they're above doing like 2D games.
They
do these giant 2D games as well.
You're right, and
Donkey Kong.
I could very well see Zero Mission or Super Metroid, or even Fusion, like some of these games coming out. However, I feel like they treat Prime kind of the way they treat Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Where they're like, this is a game that's always going to get us good credit. This is a game that's always going to bring us up.
Street cred.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're always going to put it out for the new console. They just are. They did it for the Wii. They did it for the Wii U. They're going to do it for Switch.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you're right. I guess we're going to see. Anyways.
What do you think?
What do I think? I think that they're working on another Donkey Kong, personally. Like, I just feel like that does way better for them.
Oh, I'd be way into that, but...
Yeah, I think they're working on another Donkey Kong Country, because those games do well. So, like, that's why... not to say that nobody's working on the Metroid, because I think somebody is. Right? I think they have something in the works.
Their last two games have just been, like, not good. A lot of people will... You good?
Yeah, sorry.
A lot of people would contest me. I think you've contested me.
Wait, you're talking about Metroid games?
Yeah, I was like, you've contested me on Metroid.
Okay.
Prime Hunters.
Yeah, that's what I said, because the last two Donkey Kong Countries have been fantastic.
No, I'm talking about Metroid.
Okay, yeah.
And you've contested me on Prime Hunters, but no one can contest me on Federation Force.
In 10 years, I can't really.
But true.
Do anything on that one.
But the point is, I think that they will come forward with something related to Metroid soon. They didn't put anything out on the Wii U. I mean, they had the Prime trilogy on there, but wasn't it Virtual Console?
Yeah, it was Virtual Console.
I think they would do a remaster for Switch.
That would be good, or they would just do GameCube Virtual Console. I don't know. I don't want to get into our predictions yet, because that'll be a good episode. But I don't know. Let's walk away from the console Nintendo. Talk about that mobile Nintendo.
Okay.
Just real quick.
Okay.
To lead us out.
All right.
One more story here. Super Mario Run downloaded 10 times more than Fire Emblem Heroes, makes less money. Now, why is this significant, right? Super Mario... Well, this is written by Matt Porter at IGN, of course. Super Mario Run is nearing 150 million downloads combined on iOS and Android, which is a crazy number. You're reaching a lot of people there. However, it's not making as much money as Fire Emblem. So Super Mario Run, if you don't know, you can download it for free. But it's $10. One single payment of $10, you get the full game. And it is I love that game.
It's awesome.
It's a great game, yeah. Man, there's a lot of skill that you can really get into with it. I played it hardcore for a couple months there. But I beat it, and, that was it. Because it really was just a game. It's not meant to go on for that long. And Fire Emblem Heroes, however, goes on indefinitely. You build your team, and you're kind of continually swapping them around, upgrading and whatnot.
It has microtransactions.
Getting the orbs. It's all about that microtransaction
there you go.
game right there.
Yep.
And now, this is the end of Nintendo ever doing a $10, that's it kind of game on mobile. This is just...
We know how Nintendo works with the numbers and how much they like money.
We're never getting a Super Mario Run 2.
Which I want to say, before we continue, and I keep saying things like, we know how much Nintendo cares about money and stuff like that. That's not a bad thing.
No, it's not. They're a business. They have
exactly.
To care
That's
about money.
what they do.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it as a derogatory thing at all. I'm saying it as, you're right.
They do it for the art. But they put that art out and they make the money. Okay, you know what I mean? They gotta do it.
Nintendo is not, Gen Design or anything like that.
Yeah,
they're not coming out with shit just for good cred.
Yeah, Team Eco, man. God bless them. Anyways, no, yeah, so... there's not much to say about this.
No.
Besides, it's very sad. Why?
See,
fuck them.
Here's the thing.
Fuck anybody who spent money on Fire Emblem Heroes, you pieces of shit. Okay? It's really, really bad looking, right? 10 times more than Fire Emblem Heroes, and it makes less money than Fire Emblem Heroes.
Okay, here's an example.
Fire Emblem Heroes has only been downloaded 15 million times.
Getting away from Nintendo specific and going more about into microtransactions. Yeah. I had a guy who was coming over here going door to door. He saw that we had a PS4 here. He's asked me what I'm playing. I said, I'm playing Mass Effect right now. He's like, I'm still playing Warframe.
Ooh.
And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, dude, you should get it. It's free. And I was like, okay, and I know, and I didn't want to get it all into that because I don't know this guy. Yeah. But he's like, yeah, it's free, but I've definitely spent over $350 in in-game transactions, and that's the thing. It's just that it builds up. You have these little people are like $10 for the price of admission for a serious game.
That was crazy to me when people were upset that it was $10 for Super Mario Run. I was like, the App Store and the Google Play Store, whatever the fuck it's called, they've devalued games so heavily that $10, right? $10, if they put out a Mario game on Switch for $10, you would be ecstatic. You'd be like, holy shit, why is it so cheap? What's wrong with this game, right? But on iOS, that's the equivalent. You might as well have just told them to go fuck themselves and then ask for $25, right? I don't understand.
Because people who are playing games on their phones are it's the connotation that they're not playing. They're not trying to play a premium game, and they're not willing to pay a premium price.
Yeah, and
it was that constant game of undercutting. Yeah. And all these games are coming out. Okay, we have it this price. Okay, well our game is this price. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's a real thing. It's a real thing. Do you remember back in the early days of iOS, right, in 2008, on the iPod Touch, when they were putting out games, and they were maybe $3 or something like that, really cheap, really low bar to entry. But then they would put out the light version, and it would be a demo. Mm-hmm. Those don't exist anymore because everything's just free.
Yeah, everything is
crazy to me, man.
Fee to play.
Yeah.
It's disgusting, and it's like they're not making premium games for it. Mm. They should. They want to count these people who play only on their phones as quote unquote gamers.
Yes. Gamers.
But those people aren't willing to pay a premium price for a premium game.
Yeah, so
and that's exactly what happened here.
Yeah, I've seen people sit there and tap through ads, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm trying to get some coins in this game because I can't continue without them." I'm like, "Why? just play a different game.
Yeah.
Any game that disrespects you so much that they're going to make you look at like a ton of ads to
Right.
continue in the game isn't worth your fucking time. And I'm
There's-
sorry. Like, it's true.
There's also a really big connotation with how many hours you can pour into a game versus the quality of the game.
Which is wrong.
It is.
objectively wrong.
And like I played for a bit. What game was it? It was the Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key, which is a free.
Oh, yeah, I played it a little bit.
I thought it was very boring.
Yeah, it was.
And like everybody, like I was talking to all these people, they're like, yeah, it's like fucking hundreds of hours long to beat. And I was like, why?
Yeah. No, none of that.
I'd rather pay the $10, play a good, high quality, exciting Mario game than do that any day.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I think another great example, two, give you one real quick. The Witness, when that came out, people were like, oh, $40 for an indie game? That's dumb. But it was like this uproar, and I was like, I've never seen this, like, outside of mobile gaming, which is crazy. And then that game came out, and then people were like, oh, this is actually like 40 hours long if you want to do all the puzzles.
That's the thing is...
And then everybody shut up.
Yeah, everybody shut up because they realized that it, like, from what I understand of the development of that game, it was a building thing. Like, they started out with something small, and they were like, okay, well, we have to charge more for how much we're adding.
Yeah, exactly. They spent like years. And What Remains of Edith Finch, we were talking about earlier.
Right.
That game is about 2.5 hours long, and it's $20. And some people are like, well, that's not really worth it. But it's one of the best games of the year, and they spent 5 fucking years making it.
And that's like that's the like really the heartbreaking thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure for a lot of developers is that they work like fucking tirelessly on these games.
Absolutely.
And then people come out, and then like it comes out, they put a price tag on it, and people are immediately like offended
Yeah.
that they would try to make money on the work that they've put in for 5
Exactly.
years.
Yeah, no, like they started that game in 2012.
Yeah.
Does anybody realize how long ago 2012 was? Does anybody ever sit down and say, hey, what was I doing in 2012? How would you change as a person over the course of 5 years? And you're working on the same project.
I was thinking about the Armageddon around that time. But,
Armageddon. Oh, yeah. Dude, I forgot.
But
Yeah. Like, I don't know. That's just like such a weird thing to me, dude. I totally forgot about that.
Yo, remember that movie too? 2012?
Yeah, with John Cusack.
Yes, dude. Anyway, getting back on subject.
Yeah, I mean, the money thing is crazy to me. And people, this shows to me more than ever that people don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they see a price tag like $10 up front, and they flip out, and then before they know it, on another game that doesn't have that price tag up front, they've dropped $100, and they don't even know. It's totally deceptive.
It's a
Like,
weird,
I hate it.
it's a marketing thing that has been going on in far other industries than gaming. Like people will go to a fast food restaurant, fucking 3 times a day.
Yeah,
Thinking that they're saving money paying, $7 a meal,
yeah.
where they could go to a high quality restaurant and pay $15 for, a
Exactly.
high quality meal.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, we've talked about this before, right? Like, somebody who goes to McDonald's and gets a burger, right? They're paying...
Which we're definitely going to McDonald's after this to get them Nintendo toys. But
We are. That's the only reason, though. Yeah, so, like, no, like, somebody pays... it's less than $7. I don't know how much it is, but it's really cheap. And they buy one, Big Mac or whatever. I don't want to search up the price of a Big Mac. I kind of know what I'm doing it. Price of a Big Mac.
It's like $8 for a meal.
Is it?
Yeah.
$8 for a meal. Okay, $8 for a meal. And then you and I we were talking about this. We were at Ted's Montana Grill, which is great.
It's a fantastic restaurant.
If you have a Ted's Montana Grill near you, which I don't think there are many of them.
No.
I think there's only like 5.
If you do, you're lucky.
But yeah, if you do,
lucky
you're
person.
lucky. I love them, dude. It's so good. But they make like bison burgers and stuff, so it's a little bit more expensive. You're paying probably $18 for a meal. Isn't that like quality, right? That and that upfront honesty of the fact that this is worth that much money.
Yeah.
We believe that $18 is a fair price for this burger because it's such a quality, right, above everybody else's, that we don't really feel like we need to nickel and dime you on like small stuff, and this is not like a low quality.
Yeah.
Like we believe in this.
And that's how that's how fast food places keep people coming back. And it's the
Yeah.
same thing with microtransactions. It really is. It's Like you pay $10 for a Mario game. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing as you get in that delicious bison meat. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
high quality thing
Exactly.
for an upfront price.
Yeah.
Whereas you're paying little tiny fees like fucking Warframe here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not, from what I understand, the game is fun, but
Yeah.
like you enter in free and then they're like, haha, well, here are all these little things.
My assumption is that as far as like accruing fans, Nintendo probably like got more backers, people that are like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna check out their other games off of Mario though, because it's not like when you go to McDonald's, it's a pleasant experience every time. You know what I mean? But like whenever you go to Tez Montana Grill, it's always like, God damn, this is great. Like we got to come here next week. Like
Yeah.
I fucking love it here. This is my new weekly joint over here. You know what I mean? And rather than every day I'm going here and I'm saving money, like you're probably not.
Right.
It's just weird. that-
And the microtransactions
that.
thing really gets to me because
Yeah.
like so much I'd rather just pay $60 up front for a
Yeah.
high quality game
agree.
than like, oh, it's free to play. All right, well, I'll hop in there and then not be able to beat anybody. It's the same thing that happened
Yeah.
to, I remember I really wanted to get into the Old Republic, that MMO.
free to play, didn't it?
Because I love the KOTOR series so much, and when it came time, it was free to play, and then my friend was like, you literally have to spend like $30, and you get everything you can like get to beat the game and be better than everybody else.
That's crazy. I hate that, man. I don't know. To close this out, though, obviously you and I are a bit more discerning consumers as far as video games go, and something like free-to-play would definitely turn us off.
Well, yeah.
To the iPhone audience, that's not the way it is. You put out a free-to-play game on Switch, though, people won't be happy. You
That's
know
true.
what I mean? So, I don't know. I guess that's the end of that. We've talked to death, and I'm sure many other people have too. So, whatever. Fucking free-to-play games, man.
Fuck them.
Fuck them. So yeah, that's a Switchat this week. We'll have more segments, all right, in the future, but
Get a little bit more fun.
Exactly, but it was such like a packed week for news,
Yeah.
right? And I
Just
wanted
had
to
to
kind
get through
of
it
keep
all.
it a little bit brief. That bar to entry, a good 45-minute show. I think that's pretty good.
That's good.
For the first episode. So yeah, of course, Modern Day Renaissance Men. You can find us both on those shows. We have other shit that we do. If this is the only thing that you're watching because it's Nintendo, we're going to continue to do this, and I think that it will go well because Nintendo is just fucking up left and right these days.
They really fucking
And
are.
We have
and we have a lot to talk about. Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Mateo Rispoli, and you can find my boy Tyler Till over there at Tyler Dill _ on
Yes,
Twitter.
you can. Yes, you can.
So we'll be back next week, and I think we'll have a bit of interesting content on this show next week, aka calling Audible right now. We're throwing in a Puyo Puyo tournament in the middle of the show.
I better train up.
Dude, you should train up.
I gotta get it.
Buy that game.
I'm just
Buy
gonna
that
fucking
game.
buy
Buy
it.
that game.
God,
Buy
talking.
Tetris.
See, this is what we're talking about. Just paying for a premium product. I know it's gonna be good. I know I'm gonna like it, but I just don't want to buy it.
Good way to end the show. Buy Puyo Puyo Tetris. See you guys.